We're here. We're finally here. Oh, what's up, everybody? I'm not going to cut too much into the BS, but Jacob, are you prepared for this? You ready to rock and roll? That's all I got to know before I hit the intro music. You ready to go? All right. I think I'm ready to set this thing off. Let's not even bullshit. Let's just get straight into it.
This is Fantasy Intervention. Now here to intervene with your fantasy life, Shane Manila, Jacob Sanderson, and Chase Vernon.
What is up, everybody? Welcome on into, another episode of Fantasy Intervention. Oh, man, it's kind of weird. I actually got a clean intro in there. Like, Shane's not even here. I got to go, and I wasn't even ready to just take off with it. So it was strange, but...
That was a hectic break because I walked back into my office.
Oh, we lost you for a second. Can't hear you, Jacob. I don't know what happened. It sounds like you muted yourself or something. Well, anyways, now that Jacob's here, he's not actually here, but we have some fun stuff to dive into. We have the Scott Fishbowl 12. That's right. Scott Fishbowl 12. Did I hear a little something? Nope, it's in and out. Still can't hear you, Jacob. We have a few different things that we're going to be taking care of with this show. We're going to be doing a mock draft, which I'm very, very excited to get into. We're going to be talking a little bit about the strategy, a little bit about some of the... Oh, yeah, now I'm solo again. Thanks a lot, Jacob. We're going to be talking a little bit about the strategy, some things that we're actually diving into and what we're looking at, what positions give you certain advantages, and whether you should be tackling certain players at their ADPs, letting them fall. Do ADPs even matter? And without Jacob here, of course, I have nothing to bounce off to. So let me go ahead and dive into the new scoring rules for the Scott Fishbowl 12. And as you all know, the rules change every single year. Typically, Scott does this to try and introduce brand new people or brand new rules to the fantasy community. He's not doing these rules just because he's like, oh, this looks like fun. He's actually trying to give people an opportunity to explore different rules. For example, the Superflex position back in, I believe, 2015 when he introduced that. Let's see if we got Jacob. Jacob,
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We're good.
Great.
So we're talking about the introduction and to the rules of the Scott Fishbowl, and Scott actually introduced a lot of these new rules because he feels like they could end up changing fantasy football. He introduced the Superflex position, and that had a huge wave amongst the community. This year we're looking at scoring against the median, and scoring against the median has existed for 2 to 3 years. In fact, we play it in our fantasy intervention league, but scoring against the median, he thinks could actually take a bigger turn along with the playoff picture that he has where, you only take half the field into the playoffs and then 10% get eliminated each week. So there's a couple new different, fun rule changes. -4 points for an interception. I think the biggest one for the quarterback, however, is the bonus points for having over a 66.6 completion percentage. You get, 0.5 points per completion and then -1 per incompletion. And this was last year, right? So Jacob, with this rule, I think people overestimated and underestimated all at the same time. Because if you end up having a quarterback who only throws 25 times a game, this doesn't really matter for that player what their completion rate is.
Right.
Player like Tua, we don't know how this offense is going to work. Don't get me wrong. But a player like Tua might only be asked to pass the ball 25 times a game, 30 times a game, especially if this defense ends up, coming to play like they did 2 years ago and like they did towards the tail end of the season. So Tua's completion percentage doesn't really concern me. I don't think it's going to add on.
It doesn't scale as much.
Exactly. But we talk about a guy like Joe Burrow who could see a major increase in passing attempts. And I think he led the league, I believe, in completion percentage Yeah, he did. He was at 69.9%, almost 70%.
Nice.
I mean, that's a
Nice.
massive uptick. Yeah, 69%, right? This is a massive uptick in yardage, especially since they ranked 29th in pace of play last season, I believe.
Yeah.
So we're talking about, if Joe Burrow continues to throw at that high of a completion rate, we're talking about, a massive steal with Joe Burrow. Is there any other thing to aspect to the quarterback position that you really look at? Because people are grabbing the quarterbacks early at a lot of these Scott Fishbowl drafts that we've seen in Chicago and Atlanta already.
Yeah, I mean, what people should remember with the quarterbacks is it's not the way that the settings are set up. People should realize like how it makes quarterbacks more important, right? So it makes quarterbacks more important, but it's not a universal boost to quarterbacks. What it is it's a differentiator between quarterbacks. It thus makes having one of the best ones more important, right? Because it's going to widen the gap, right? So we talk about, wins over replacement, value over replacement, whatever that is. Because of this completion percentage ad, and because of the penalties to turnovers, and because of the rewards to good play with quarterbacks, you're going to see the best of the best. And specifically, all these are related to passing. So the best of the best passers, ultimately are going to have real sizable advantages, while the quarterbacks who really struggle to pass the ball down the field accurately or not to the other team, ultimately those are the quarterbacks that are going to fall short. So I don't think it's a matter of like you have to take every quarterback earlier, but it's a matter of you might want to change the order of quarterbacks from a standard redraft league. And then what you really want to do is make sure that you have the quarterbacks that are favorable to the scoring settings up front, right? So what's awesome to me is guys like Tom Brady, guys like the Dak Prescott, guys like Kyler Murray potentially, or Matt Stafford. These sort of quarterbacks in these offenses that use the passing game almost as an extension of the run game, where they get an opportunity to throw a lot of these short passes that really help boost their completion percentage, where they're picking up first downs, where they're putting up passing yardage at the same time. Those are the types of quarterbacks that I'm really intrigued by, versus some of the lower volume options where, they're getting the high completion percentages, but they're not scaling it because there's not many pass attempts per game. Or especially, if you're taking risks on the guys who are throwing the ball down the field on a higher proportion of their attempts. Yeah, I'm struggling with a guy like a Jalen Hurts, right? Who I really love in every other format, but he's going to be a little bit more turnover prone. He's not really throwing the ball short, right? The extension of their run game is his own individual run game, which he gets points for that. But that means that when he's throwing the ball, he's not checking down. He's not getting those free completions to Miles Sanders and Kenny Gainwell. He's throwing the ball down the field at a really high rate, which I think is good for their offense. But it means that his completion percentage is going to hover around 60, most likely, which means he's hemorrhaging points on average. When he's throwing completions and incompletions, he's losing points.
Well, to that point, you also get 0.5 points for every rushing first down that you have. And Jalen Hurts actually did run for the most rushing first downs for the quarterback position. So Jalen Hurts kind of balanced himself out in that sense. And honestly, it's like, okay, well, you have a rushing quarterback, but he also has bad completion percentage, and they throw the ball a decent amount, although they did lead league in rushing. They still weren't completely off, I believe, in passing attempts. But we have guys like Josh Allen who will remain to have a decent completion percentage and rush for a ton of first downs. I believe Lamar Jackson, isn't going to get completely crushed this year, because I think they're going to keep it close to the line of scrimmage in terms of his completion rate and incompletions. And yeah, I feel like he could end up being one of those guys. Another guy, Kyler Murray, who actually had a great completion percentage this past season and got you points, and he was rushing for first downs and only played 13 games. So you have multiple different aspects. You can look at the quarterback position this upcoming season and figure out exactly where you want to go. But for the rushing first downs, right? 0.5 points for rushing first down. Jonathan Taylor offers competition for the number one overall pick. And although most people say, no, go take Josh Allen, or no, go take, Herbert, whoever your quarterback is, right? Go get your guy, like somebody brought up in the chat. I think it was, Gator J over there. We look at Jonathan Taylor, and he had 107 rushing first downs. Do you know who was number two?
Probably, oh man.
It's actually, you're not going to guess it. There's no way.
I'll guess it's like Najee Harris.
Najee Harris was actually number 3.
Okay.
But number 2 was Antonio Gibson with 65. Wow. Well, it's Ron Rivera's system, right? He wants to rush the ball. But we're talking about almost double almost double the rushing first downs for Jonathan Taylor, more than any other one. And when we look at players, right, like there's no formula to determine yet. I was talking about those Heath Cummings last night on the Trophy Smack show that we did. There's not really a formula yet to determine what creates a rushing first down, right? Because, you can end up playing off the play action fake. You can end up bringing in a fullback and rushing. So there's really no determination yet, outside of the fact that you have a player like a Jonathan Taylor or even a Najee Harris to an extent, who they're going to get. One thing
we can look at is coaching tendencies, right?
Yes.
We can look at how often coaches run the ball or pass the ball in second and third and short situations, right? That's one thing that we can look at, because some coaches are more predisposed to pass on 3rd and 2 versus run on 3rd and 2. The Colts were a team. I don't even know what the stats are, but I watch every Colts game, so the stats certainly seem to bear it out. When it was 3rd and 2, they hand the rock to Jonathan Taylor. That's happening, okay? It's the same situation with a Derrick Henry, which if I had to guess, if he had played the whole season last year, he probably would have ended up pretty darn close to Jonathan Taylor, which is when it's 3rd and 1, yeah, they're not messing around. They're handing it off to Jonathan or to Derrick Henry. So I think certainly, if we can look at the pass rate or the rush rate on 3rd and 2nd and short situations, that's something we could potentially look at to try and gain an edge. I don't have those stats in front of me, but I'm just saying that's something that would be cool to look at. And yeah, I also noticed that Ball's Life that you're drinking a Five Guys soda.
Yeah, I didn't have time.
Which is good because here's my segue. Let's start the draft because I pick 1-5, which means that I'm going to be taking the 5th guy.
Well, let me go ahead and put this out here real quick. I did find one thing that coincided with the first downs, and that's breakaway run rate. When you have players that are getting these breakaway runs over and over and over again, I think Najee Harris, and he still had a top 10 breakaway run rate.
I don't think that he had one breakaway run the entire year.
No, I think he was still top 10 in breakaway run where breakaway. Oh, it was breakaway runs per game. I apologize.
Yeah, that is the volume.
Yeah, so breakaway runs per game, was something else, which is obviously volume. So yeah, let's go ahead and kick this draft off. Sorry for talking y'all's ear off a little bit too much, but let's kick this off and get it running. Who is your top pick? Who's your 101?
My 101 is Josh Allen.
So you're not even contemplating Jonathan Taylor. Where does Jonathan Taylor start to fall for you?
Okay, so if I was trying to look at this objectively, I think Jonathan Taylor would be fine for me at pick 6. Oh, but let's be honest here. I'm not going to win the Scott Fish Bowl. If I do, I'm doing it for brand equity. If you think there's any fucking chance of taking a running back in the first round, you are kidding yourself.
Jacob hates running backs, so he will never draft a running back. Where's the running back for you? Is it 3rd or 4th round? Because you go hero or RB, don't you? Where you do one running back?
Okay, so what I was going to say, but I said this on the last show, I think the best way to play it probably be with my running back. I mean, it all depends on the board. I probably want one. If I was to play this the way that I think is most optimal, it'd be with a hero RB build. So I would probably be looking at a running back either in the 2nd or the 3rd round. If I can get, one of the guys that I want to target there that I don't want to name yet because I'm drafting in a mock draft here. Failing that, there's another couple that I like in the 4th and 5th. Failing that, maybe it'll end up being a full-on 0 RB. We will see. We will see how it goes. What I will say is that I'm picking at the 5 slot. I took the 5 slot. That's where I will actually be picking in the Scott Fish Bowl. There's a 100% chance I'll be taking a quarterback in the first round. I can say that definitively at the 5 spot. It'll be whoever's left for me. And in this case, the quarterback that's left for me is Kyler Murray. So that's the guy.
Dude, you're supposed to take Joe Burrow. Kyler Murray's my guy.
I'm not taking Joe Burrow.
Oh,
I'm not taking Joe Burrow. Who do you think I am? Taylor Cornell?
Oh my God, man!
No, to be very clear,
a stake to my heart.
So it's Allen for me. It's actually the exact order that these quarterbacks went. Although I would take Kyler over Lamar because Kingsbury is obsessed with the horizontal raid. So he actually gets his completion percentage juiced a little bit, throwing these 1-yard passes to Rondale and to probably Darrell Williams this year in a way that Lamar Jackson doesn't. They throw the ball more downfield. So those would be my top 5. I think Burrow is fine at 1-6, although I'd probably say Taylor's a better pick there. But yeah, I like where you got Taylor.
Oh my God! If I get Taylor at 108, I would take it every.
Jonathan Taylor is my 106, which is nice. That's why I took the 105 so that I wouldn't have to take Jonathan Taylor and take a running back in the first round.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just kidding. I didn't even select the 105. I got it randomly, even though, as I said last week, I said the 105 would be my favorite draft choice, and then I got it randomly because for once,
sick.
the gods smiled at me.
I like drafting the 107, 108. Right in the middle of the draft, it gives you a little bit of opportunity to get every guy that you want. You're not affected by runs as much because you can actually start a run and then be left with the player that you want.
You just had 5 guys for dinner. You're going to be affected by the runs real quick.
So I love this draft spot sitting here at the 108. We're going to have a little bit of competition at the Trophy Smack live draft. We have like bowling and shuffleboard and stuff. It's going to determine our pick order. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, this third round reversal makes drafting in the top like 2 or 3 really rough. Even the 5 spot's a little rough too. Now, I do want to point out how crazy these mock drafts are, right? Because people do these mock drafts, and this is the first one that I'm actually going to do where I'm going to be real about my picks. Normally, I just pick a different player and then I write down who I would actually take at that spot, and I look at my roster after that to feel, see how I feel. But I've been seeing all right, for example, there was one draft. It was Chicago. No, yeah, it was Chicago. And Breece Hall went at like 601, and Kenneth Walker went at like 712, something like that. It was a round and a half difference. Then I went and I looked at Atlanta's draft. And Atlanta, Breece Hall went at the 402, and Kenneth Walker went at 1103.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a crazy discrepancy. Like, we're talking about, 3 rounds one direction and 4 rounds the other direction. These mock drafts, people are going to try and get different. It's somewhat similar to what we see with Underdog Rate, where we see a huge discrepancy of like what people try to do to beat these massive tournaments. So I'm on the clock now. I took Jonathan Taylor. Right now I'm looking at a fuck ton of
got to get your quarterback, bro.
Running backs.
Don't even know it's a Scott Fishbowl.
This is something as to
you're not thinking quarterback. You're gonna have a creek without a paddle.
Well, at least Russell Wilson throws for a high completion rate.
Yeah,
and then I'll have an opportunity to stack later with 2 different opportunities to stack.
Love that.
So honestly, like, I'm tempted to go double running back or take Jamar Chase, but Russell Wilson is my dude here.
All right, Larry, what are you gonna do to me here, Lair?
Now, real quick, Cooper Kupp, right, had an insane season last year, right? He had probably one of the best receiving seasons in NFL history, at least top 3. Jonathan Taylor finished like 0.6 points behind him last season, which is crazy. And then we talk about like the discrepancy of points scored for like wide receivers and how there's such a massive gap between the top tier ones and the next ones. That's not the case for the Scott Fishbowl. It's a lot closer because the 0.5 PPR. And then we look at the players who finished in the top 5 for the wide receiver position. Deebo Samuel, who's like a running back pretty much.
I don't even know why I'm so upset because it's a mock draft, but I was real fired up to click the Mark Andrews button right there.
You were holding your breath. You weren't even talking. I had to start talking.
All right. Well, here we go. I'm going to get my hero RB right here. I'm going to get the RB1 overall. I'll take Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I knew you were going to take Christian if he was there. I actually did not think you were going to take Mark Andrews.
I 100% would have taken Mark Andrews if he was available to me, but he was not. So I took Christian McCaffrey.
So are you that like sold on going wide receiver this early, or are you going to try and fill out the quarterbacks and tight ends, or depends on who falls to you?
I don't even have a wide receiver yet. I'm a robust drafter this game.
But in general,
so what I would like to do. So Scott Fishbowl, like, obviously it has a lot more fancy scoring settings, but it's like similar in essence in like in an actionable way to the FFPC, other than the Superflex aspect, which is that the tight end position is highly valued. You're going to have additional flex spots. So it gives you more optionality with how to build your teams between running backs and wide receivers. And then, you have to deal with quarterback. So what I'm going to do is I'm locking in an elite quarterback. So I got the 5 slot. So luckily I'm going to take a quarterback in round 1. The nice thing about taking quarterback in round 1 is like, so say my line would be after like Lance and Russ, in the way that this draft went, I guess. And where like if I can get one of Lance or Russ to me at the 2-8, I don't expect that. But if that happens, I'll go quarterback, most likely. Once Russ went, I'm not taking this tier, this Cousins, Carr, Rodgers, Fields tier. I won't be taking them in round 2. I just think it's an overdraft, quite frankly, at the expense of other guys who are elite at their positions, right?
Really?
CMC,
even Carr,
Andrews, Jamar Chase, like these are guys that have an opportunity to produce massive value above replacement at their positions. I like Carr fine. I would consider him if he had come around to the 3-5, but that's not a guy I'm going to take in round 2.
Wait, did you say optionality? Because Dynasty Hot Sauce Pod brought up optionality, and I have no idea what that even means.
I think it just means like flexibility, but I don't know. I didn't say that.
Optionality. I love that.
Anyway, my point being, so I'll take 2 quarterbacks if like Russ falls or Lance or whoever else from that tier. But if they don't, then I'm not going to force it. So at the end of the day, like if I have my quarterback locked in with Kyler, and it'll probably be Kyler, quite frankly. If it's not, it'll be Lamar, it'll be Mahomes or whoever else. Then, what's the worst case in the world? I'll wait and see my quarterback 2, and I'll take like 2 later guys. I'd probably want to take in this draft scenario, which I envision probably plays out, is I'd probably want to try and take like one safer late guy, someone like a Matt Ryan or a Jared Goff, someone like that, and then try to pair them with someone like a Daniel Jones or Mitch Trubisky or someone who has a little bit more rushing upside, but also a lot more fear. Gator is asking me Lance over Carr. Yeah, by like 7,000 miles, Lance over Carr. Yeah.
You're not concerned about the completion rate?
He's going to run for 1,000 yards.
You're not concerned
I'm not concerned about the completion rate. You know who's been at the top 10 in completion rate his last 2 full seasons? Jimmy Garoppolo, right? And I don't think that's because Jimmy Garoppolo can play quarterback. I think that the San Francisco 49ers system is very quarterback friendly.
It is.
It creates a lot of open reads, and it's only going to get more quarterback friendly. It's only going to get more quarterback friendly with a quarterback who forces the other team to play 11 on 11 every down, right? Like, think about how the San Francisco offense is going to run. Well, first of all, think about how they're going to run. I mean that literally. Like, they're going to run the ball a lot with their running backs. They're going to run the ball a lot with their quarterback. What that entails is that Trey Lance is going to have the easiest, like, secondary looks to pass against out of anyone in the NFL this year based on the weapons they have and the effectiveness of the run game. And so he's going to get a lot of looks at Ayuk in single coverage down the field, Debo getting single coverage on slant routes, Kittle getting matched up on linebackers. It's just, he's going to have a lot of positive opportunities. Like, maybe he just totally sucks, but if he can throw the football, like even a league average rate, he's in a really, really good position. So basically I expect to be quarterback round 1. And then what I'll probably look at is like, I don't imagine that Christian McCaffrey is actually ever going to fall to me at 2-8 in the real world. If that happens, I will jump for joy. But if not, I'm hoping to get Mark Andrews in the second. And then failing that, I'll probably be looking at, I would like to see Jefferson or Chase, Diggs or Adams in that spot.
So I'm sitting here and I'm looking at, oh my God, that's like the first time I've said that in so long. I'm sitting here looking at it. And I have Deandre Swift, who's one of my top end running backs, but I already have Jonathan Taylor. And I love the running back position this year. Deandre Swift is one of my top guys, but Las Vegas, faces Denver a couple times. It's inside the division.
Yeah.
We talk about a guy coming home, and typically, I don't play the narrative, but I think I have to take Devontae Adams at this point. Also, to make sure that my league mates, because I got to play a little bit of defense, who was it? Gator J doesn't somehow slip down to him if there's a running back run. So I know he's still 5 spots out, but I'm going to take Devontae Adams to make sure I play a little bit of defense, and I also have an in-divisional opponent. So that way, if they end up having a massive week, because of the playoff scoring, by the way, it's going to change things. If you're not aware, weeks 11, 12, and 13 are the playoffs. Or is it 12, 13, 14? No, it's 11, 12, 13.
That's true.
The bottom 10% get eliminated, but the
playoffs... my God, these people keep sniping me on every tight end that I want.
I was thinking about going Kyle Pitts, but I couldn't do it.
Oh my goodness, that was going to be such an easy click.
Go ahead and make your pick, but I still want to finish talking about this because this is really important about the playoffs. All right, so the playoffs is your average score throughout the season plus the score that you put up in weeks 11. And then for week 12 in the playoffs, it's your average score of weeks 1 through 11 plus your score. And then week 13, it's the average of 1 through 12, and then your plus your week 13 score. So that way they're trying to eliminate bye weeks. They don't want bye weeks playing as much of a factor into it, which is also has to do with the league scoring against the median to give you an average score to get into the contest. So does that change your strategy at all? Like, does that make you less afraid of bye weeks? Were you fading bye weeks before? You might not be fading bye weeks anymore. What do you think?
Yeah, it does. It does make you a little less afraid of bye weeks. Like, I remember last year was so clearly like you're at a massive disadvantage with a week 14 bye week.
Yeah.
And that had guys that I really liked. Like, I was really in on Jalen Hurts and the Eagles last year, and they had a week 14 bye. I was on Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, the Colts too.
And in fact, like, this probably killed my Scott Fishbowl last year. Was I took Cam Akers over Jonathan Taylor because it was week 14 bye.
Did you really?
Yeah, that was a situation where I had them both the same tier. Of course, before he tore his Achilles, and I was like, well, Akers actually plays that week. So I like it's better. I mean, certainly I like this for this team because Kyler and McCaffrey are both out in week 13. But it's something where, like, I'm going to be cognizant of it sort of in the later rounds, where especially if I'm between, it's a tiebreaker for me. But I'm probably not going to let it like guide my picks overall. Where if there's a clear tier break, which was the case in the Christian McCaffrey pick, where there was just nobody else I saw as really all that close in a tier to him. We're in an interesting spot now. So I took Stephon Diggs, which we didn't mention at third round. That was a pretty easy pick for me. I didn't have a wide receiver left. I think there's a pretty clear top 5 at wide receiver, depending on the order you prefer, between Kupp and Jefferson and Chase and Adams and Diggs. I would have definitely taken Kyle Pitts if he fell to me. I think with the Scott Fishbowl format, and especially with the way I want to draft, where I'm probably going to take maximum 1 early running back, I want to be drafting tight end early. That's the way that I want to allocate my capital. So Kyle Pitts was something I would have wanted. Hot Sauce Pod said 3 wide receiver start. Look, Hot Sauce, when I see 3 wide receivers and I see 2 flex, you know what that says to me? It says 5 wide receiver start.
That's Larry Monkey, baby. That's Larry.
Oh, is that the all right? So we got Larry. He's Larry in the draft, but he's Hot Sauce in the chat. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, this is an interesting pick here coming up. I'm actually not 100% sure what I want to do with this one. Oh no, I was typed on Zeke.
Did you say, oh no, I was sniped on Zeke? Oh, that's amazing. Jacob, the day that you draft Zeke, I will donate $50 to a charity. If you draft Zeke in the Scott Fishbowl, I will donate $50 to whatever charity you say. And I bet you Shane will max it. In fact, I'm going to start a Twitter chat, and I'm going to see how many people we can get to donate to a charity for you to take Zeke in the Scott Fishbowl.
I love this idea. Okay, if you get up to $500, I'll do it.
Oh my God, this is going to be amazing. Let me do the
$500.
post.
That's my price.
Oh man, this is going to be awesome. Wait, who had a 3 wide receiver start?
No, I think he means like you can start 3 wide receivers.
Oh, gotcha. Oh yeah.
But you can actually start 5 because we don't flex running backs in this house. Anyway, this is pretty much like my. I would like my start to include 3 things that I have here. I want it to include a quarterback in the first. I want to get one of the top 5 tight ends. I would ideally like to be one of the top 3, Andrews, Kelsey, or Pitts, but life didn't have that in store for me. And then I would like to get one of my top 5 wide receivers to lead off my team, being one of Kupp, Jefferson, Chase, Adams, or Diggs. We have that. And then that 4th spot is optional. If McCaffrey falls, I will do that. If Barkley falls to me in the 4th, I would do that. Probably those are the 2 guys I'm looking at most out of the 5 slot. And then the other thing I would do is potentially I would double tap quarterback to open. So I was pretty close to taking Fields. He went right after me. I was really strongly considering Justin Fields. But I just think the format is not very friendly to Fields. The one I didn't really want to force it. And I'm interested to see how quickly the quarterbacks go. Like, this is my first Scott Fishbowl mock. We'll see. This is kind of a learning experience for me where I'm finding out how far I can push it before I take that QB2.
This is actually
maybe
pretty.
I'll come back to regret this decision.
Yeah, this is actually pretty accurate to how they've been. It's way more like pushy than we've seen in in Underdog for the best ball drafts.
Those have been just one QB, right?
No, even the Superflex QB, like they don't go this early. But the main reason is because quarterbacks they might not win you weeks, but they can definitely lose you weeks.
Yeah.
Like there are multiple weeks where like Taylor Heinicke and Daniel Jones and a lot of these other quarterbacks would give you negative points. Now, part of that had to do with every time you fumbled, you got -2 points. And like Dak Prescott had like 16 fumbles, this year. Like
Right.
it was, that was a big part to it as well. So he took away the fumbles. I think you have to lose the fumble now. Oh no, it was the sacks. I'm sorry. It was the sacks that killed you.
But now the sacks are gone.
And the fumbles are back. That's what it was. The sacks. So if every time you got a sack, so if you got sacked, 5 times or 4 times, you're giving away 10 points. But either way, you could still end up having a quarterback. Like, let me see, quarterback with decent pass. Ben Roethlisberger had decent passing volume and probably will lose you points because he throws it 64.2. Jacoby Brissett could be a big time loss. I mean, he threw for 62.7% when he played last year, and like people are going to draft him. People are going to take him. I don't think I'd ever play him.
That's the issue to me is like we're not there yet, but we're rapidly approaching the point in time where I think quarterbacks become not a value. Like if you can get to right, like look at that guy right at the turn, the guy that goes Dak Lance, the guy that goes Stafford Brady. Those guys have put themselves in a really strong position. The quarterback, they're actually getting value over replacement. But what people fail to realize, you don't have to start 2 quarterbacks. It's Superflex. So your value over replacement is not actually value over the replacement second quarterback. It's value over the replacement flex player, right? And like we're rapidly approaching a point where, you're going to be losing to teams as wide receiver 4s or running back 3s that are going in that Superflex spot if you're taking like Baker Mayfield, in my opinion. Like I don't think that actually gives you an advantage. So what my thoughts are on quarterbacks, if you can get too early, great. But if the board doesn't follow you in a spot where you can do that, I don't necessarily know that you're actually all that advantaged by just like forcing, Carson Wentz in the 5th round. Like I don't think that's helping you. Like I'm not like, I don't know that starting Carson Wentz in your Superflex is all that different than starting, I'm trying to think of an example, Elijah Moore in your Superflex. Like that might not actually be that much of a difference. I have to go and pee. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. You fill some time, bro.
Yeah, I'll talk about Travis Etienne real quick. Sorry, Jacob's been literally working nonstop for the past, 12 hours now. So Travis Etienne, Breece Hall are interesting picks here. I think Breece Hall might be a little bit too early based on his timeshare that he could end up seeing with Michael Carter. We don't know what to see yet. And of course, there could end up being a guy who, blows up in terms of, running back value, right? We could see a Najee Harris type season if they decide to put Michael Carter on the bench, but I just don't think that's going to be the case. Meanwhile, Travis Etienne's in the exact opposite position where we have James Robinson, who might not play, right off the bat. In fact, he probably won't play off the bat. And we have Doug Peterson offense who operates off of the tight end and the running back position. In fact, Doug Peterson has never had his leading receiver be a wide receiver. So, and then they brought in a bunch of mediocre wide receivers and paid them a ton of money anyways. But Travis Etienne is actually a steal here. And I think you had to reach for that ADP because I was looking at taking him coming back. And I still thought that would be a reach if I took him coming back on the turn. So Travis Etienne, for me, that was still a good pick. That's still one of those reaches that you want to take. And then the next one around, you actually took Kamara, which is a value. Still need to get 3 wide receivers. And when you look at drafts that have wide receiver positions, where the 3rd wide receiver is taken in the 9th, the 10th, the 11th round, I mean, you're going to end up failing with that probably 9 times out of 10. I mean, how many successful wide receivers have you seen come in the 9th round, 10th round, 11th round in terms of how many were actually taken? And I think that's something that you have to consider. And you see 2 different teams here with Quepton and Mandarin taking 3 running backs to start. So at this point, I have to go value, and I like taking them early. But I can't sit there and try and force the running back position to happen. James Conner would definitely be in play for me here, but I don't want to do that. Then we have...
I think you got to take James Conner out of respect to the unfortunate death of James Conn today.
What? That has... No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to go ahead and go to my stack here. I'm going to reach for my guy, the guy that I've been standing by. Jacob, you know this. I've been standing by him since his rookie season.
It's true,
I absolutely love him. I think that he's going to end up having a year where he blows up, and I am counterbalancing, or I'm stacking this Colts team really hard, so I should be attacking teams like the Giants here soon. Or not soon, but I can attack the Giants later on in the draft because none of the Giants are going early. So if I can actually take the Colts early and then I can go to the Giants and the Colts match up in week 17, and we could see a massive blow up as to where, like, hey, if I do somehow make it to the finals, like that could be the stack of the season that I want. We talk about how they lost Rock Ya-Sin on the outside. Michael Pittman. Yeah. We talk about Michael Pittman, though. He could have a massive game in this week, and you could see all three getting into the end zone. I don't think you're what's that word I'm looking for? Cannibalizing yourself. I don't think you're cannibalizing the production if you end up taking
not against the Giants.
Those three.
The Giants are a forgiving entity.
Exactly. I'm down with it.
Oh, I don't know, like maybe I'm just tired because I've like been on a couple flights this week, but I saw the A Brown before you. I thought someone took Antonio Brown. Oh my God. Come on.
Oh, he has Joe Burrow.
Who is this guy?
He has Joe Burrow. He had to take him.
Yeah, but he's taking my pick like every round. He's taking Mark Andrews and T. Higgins. He's only had he's had 3 chances to snipe me. One of them was Swift, which was a good pick, by the way. I wasn't going to take him, but it was a good pick. He had 3 chances to snipe me. You did it 2 out of 3 times. Whoever this Jay is, you're on my freaking list, dude. Okay, well, you still got bonuses for first downs, right? That's still how this thing works on wide receivers.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll take a chain mover. I'll take the consummate chain mover. I'll take Keenan Allen.
That's solid. That's a great pick.
Boring ass pick, but I was gonna take T. Higgins and have fun, but he ruined my chances of that.
Oh man, Keenan Allen is interesting here, right? But he's so spotty sometimes that he concerns me a little bit. Maybe he can get hot towards the tail end of the season, but I don't like him this year. I'm not the biggest fan. I know that Herbert's going to go off, but I feel like Herbert's going to utilize his other receivers.
I mean, what other receivers? That's the thing. Like, so Herbert, they're going to pass a ton in LA. I think everybody knows that. Herbert's fantastic. Brandon Staley, he's the prince who the nerds have promised for years. So they're going to pass the ball a lot. And they don't actually have that many awesome weapons. Like, it's really thin after the top 2. It's Keenan Allen, who, we know what he's all about. He's a target earner. He does in the short area of the field. And then you have Mike Williams, who's more the red zone, down the field. But he's never, last year was the best season of his life. He still only had a 20% target share. So he's never been a guy that's commanded truly alpha targets. After that, we got, Jalen Guyton, who's a total win sprinter. Josh Palmer is interesting. But I think, what we saw last year with Palmer was that he was interesting in the games that one of Williams or Allen were out, and then he got to elevate into one of those top 2 chairs. But he wasn't earning a whole ton of volume on his own. Gerald Everett, God, I love him. I love Gerald Everett, but he's never earned volume at any point. And, then you get the targets going down to the running back and Eckler. So I still think Keenan Allen's going to do what he's always done generally, which is he's going to get, about 25 to 27% of the targets. He's not going to be the most efficient in the world because he's going to get targeted in the shorter areas. But if we're talking about a format where we're getting points for first downs, like that's a guy who's going to be moving the chains pretty consistently. So I think he's a fine bet. He doesn't excite me. I hope to draft someone more exciting in the 5th round than Keenan Allen, to be entirely honest. But I would have drafted all of Higgins, Johnson, and Pittman and A.J. Brown ahead of Keenan Allen, but they went 4 in a fucking row. So fuck all of you.
So, and I reached for Michael Pittman, by the way. I went all the way down. So, Dalton Schultz. Damn it, I was going to take Mike Williams.
Yeah,
Dalton Schultz went early on this one.
I like that.
Hey, Gator J, can you let us know what his ADP was? Because I didn't see him on the ADP, but I love that pick. He was not going to make it back to you for sure. I might not have taken him this round, but I probably would have taken him next round. I love Dalton Schultz for this season. I know that Julio Jones has rumors right now of going to either the Cowboys or the Packers.
Not too concerned about Julio Jones.
I don't care. Dalton Schultz is going to hammer it this year.
Yeah, Julio Jones, one of the best wide receivers of all time. And I have a lot of cheap shares, but let's move on with our lives, Like Julio Jones was not good last year, right? He wasn't even good when he was healthy last year. He wasn't earning targets. He wasn't able to stay on the field. He wasn't effective. Like, come
I was going to take him.
on. Yeah,
Yep, that was
like
your
you
stack.
thought, like
That
you
was
thought
your
he was
stack.
ever, like you thought he was ever gonna get past me.
You know he's my guy. That's my dude.
Like, I was gonna take him.
I would have taken him with your last pick over Keenan Allen.
Yeah, but I thought he would come back. All right. Well, I mean, whatever. It seems like there's one like clear guy I think that's still in this tier. You know, and that seems to be Jaylen Waddle to me. So I'll take Jaylen Waddle, but let the record show I would have preferred to have Hollywood Brown. I was so close. It's a good thing this is a mock draft because like a lot of what my goal is in the Scott Fish Bowl is like I would like to make the picks that I want to make, but I want to root for the players that I'm rooting for. Like that's a lot of the fun of the Scott Fish Bowl for me.
Yeah.
And I was so close to having like a Higgins, Marquise Brown turn, which is like two of the guys that I love dearly in the world. And then I got like Keenan Allen and Jaylen Waddle, who like I like as picks. They're fine, but they don't like, you know, they don't get me feeling a certain type of way.
So I'm hoping this one guy makes it to me. I just read an article for him on playerprofiler.com. I'm still waiting for it to come out. I don't really know what's happening with it. But yes, he made it to me. Sweet. J.K. Dobbins, baby. J.K.
Right,
Dobbins is
a
freaking steal this year. All right. Weeks 11 through 17, right? He has an absolutely insane schedule. It's the Jaguars, right? Then he has the Broncos, which don't have a good run defense, and they didn't really do anything to shore it up. The Steelers, who had the worst run defense in the NFL last season. Then they have the Browns, who is actually they're okay. The Browns' run defense is decent, but the Browns, if Deshaun Watson has to return, the Ravens are going to have to score. And J.K. Dobbins, they use him in the goal line, and he is phenomenal at the goal line. We'll see if he can return to that form, you know, after his injury. But he scored on 8 of 9 touches inside the 5 in 2020. Like, that's insane. Like, his efficiency as a rookie was nuts. And then they have the Falcons. Yeah. Then they have the Falcons. That's a home run. And then the Steelers again in week 17. So you have just an insane playoff schedule, like, to close out the season. And if you can at least get to the playoffs, J.K. Dobbins can win you your leagues. It's just ridiculous how sick this matchup could be.
You know what that says to me, right? With my certain proclivities.
100%.
It means that I want to draft Gus Edwards.
If I don't get J.K. Dobbins, I'm taking Gus Edwards I'm reaching for Gus Edwards if I don't get J.K. Dobbins. I'm reaching.
And I agree with you, by the way, Chase. I would take J.K. Dobbins over David Montgomery. David Montgomery, whatever with David Montgomery, man.
Yeah, whatever.
David Montgomery's volume-filled masquerade is about to come to an end in 2022, in my opinion. He's been an absolutely mediocre talent by any meaning of the word with the opportunities he's been given. And he's been given a fuckload of opportunities these last few years. Like, David Montgomery's opportunity share was among the highest in the league. I'm not aware of any metrics on a per carry basis that tell me that David Montgomery warrants that level of opportunity. I think he's been fine. I think he'll be fine this year, but I would be really surprised if he gets the level of opportunity share he got before. I'm not trying to be, hysterical. I'm not trying to say Khalil Herbert's going to steal his job or Treston Ebner's going to steal his job, whatever. But like, I think it's pretty reasonable to suggest that, okay, he might not play like 95% of the snaps this year. They're not, everybody agrees that Matt Nagy is a terrible coach, but yet a lot of people are very willing to just adopt Matt Nagy's running back deployment for the new scheme. But we all think that he sucks. So why would we assume that, what Matt Nagy did is going to hold if we think that he's so bad? That's an interesting pick. Cordarrelle Patterson. I would not have made that pick, but I find it fascinating.
Okay, so I messed up.
To me, you sniping arsehole.
So I messed up. I made a rookie mistake. J.K. Dobbins was somewhat of a reach, right? Like, I ended up going down. I took him
a little bit of a reach.
And he was my guy, right? So I wanted to get my guy. But what I didn't do was I didn't look at the rest of the roster or the rest of the team's rosters. And I was just talking about it.
I know you should have been able to get Judy or Sutton for the stack.
That's what I was going to do. And I was thinking, one of them will come back to me, but I didn't take into account that we have Quepton and Mandarin both have 3 running backs to start it out.
They went robust. They went full on robust. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm going to grab all of their backups, and I'm going to end up winning the league. So
there you go.
No, but That's probably a rookie mistake right there. And although like Elijah Mitchell might have gone over him, I can't believe Cordell Patterson went at 7-1. Maybe J.K. Dobbins would have gone there. But you do have to look at your league mates and see where they're sitting with the draft in order to make a educated decision on your guess of who can make it back. I thought that Sutton or Judy would be able to do that, but I didn't take into an account that both those teams needed wide receivers desperately.
Because you're too busy hosting a show. You got other responsibilities.
Yeah. And Quepton, holy hell, man. Like, I understand you're robust, but that's
fascinatingly, the person who didn't take any of your Broncos wide receivers is the guy right beside you with a Broncos avatar.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. I think it has a little bit of a reach. What's up, Hollywood Tight in the chat? And then Jay, of course, but Jay can't talk to Jacob because he's a sniping. Would you? No,
I refuse. I refuse to discuss anything with Jay Stein, who insists on making my experience tonight worse than it would have been otherwise.
You know what's shocking is that Kenneth Walker made it to the 11th round in the Atlanta draft. That blows my mind.
Seems about right to me.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Like the who do we draft? Just to who that is like the wildest debate on Twitter to me. It's like the Kenneth Walker, Rashad Penny wars. It's like, oh no, who's going to get 60% of the rushing work on a 4-win team?
Yeah,
not a dynasty take. Like I've expressed my view on Kenneth Walker in dynasty, but he could certainly be fine. I would rather take him than Penny, to be clear, in redraft. I think he has more upside. I think if one of them is going to seize the role fully, it's probably the really talented round 2 pick they just did rather than the veteran. But I struggle to get pretty excited about early down rushers who don't catch passes, who are likely in a timeshare on a horrible team.
So this is where it gets rough, right? I mean, like this ADP is absolutely out there. First off, I'm
not putting a lot of weight on the ADP to be honest with you. I think that has limited value.
Where the hell did Barkley go?
He went like
310. I was like, wait, where'd he go? Yeah, that was weird. Honestly, like I think I just have to take best player available here, and I don't even know who it is at this point because this ADP is very weird.
Weird.
I want to take Chris Godwin, but I'm afraid that he won't play till halfway through the season, and then it's going to take him a little bit to get ramped up.
Who cares about the first half of the season?
I'm going to go with my guy, AJ Dillon.
Okay, all right.
If something happens to Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon's literally going to be a home run. Like
you have a high T team between Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins, and AJ Dillon. You will have no problem. You'll not be needing testosterone pills with that group of running backs.
No, there's a bunch of studs right there, and they all came out of the same draft too.
You got absolute thoroughbreds right there.
Yeah. So if something happens to Aaron Jones, we still have pass catching ability from AJ Dillon. They don't have any other receivers on this team. Alan Lazard, sure.
Great pick, Larry.
I was going to take... God, did you see me star him, Larry? I starred him, and then I realized I was on a live show, so I had to unstar him. Damn it. Larry, good pick. I thought that Juju Smith-Schuster would make it back to me, and I could play him up against Denver in Week 17. I think that's a home run pick. I'm kind of mad that you took it.
There's a couple wide receivers that I like kind of equally here. But there's one quarterback that stands out from the rest. And it's a quarterback who in past years may not have been seen to be a Scott Fishbowl format fit. But I think this year he's in a really great spot. He has three fantastic weapons on the outside.
Okay, good. I thought now I know who you're talking about. I thought at first you were going to say Daniel Jones.
To the extent that his running back plays this year, it will greatly help as well in the passing game. And I think he's set up really, really, really well. So I'm going to take Jabba Winston right here.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I don't know if he passes enough, man. Like, he's one of those quarterbacks that saw 25 attempts per game. And their defense isn't going to be that much worse.
I think they're going to pass a lot more. So my office randomly turns off lights at this time, so I'm going to shift around here. This is what happened last week. Whenever you're like, you turn your thing around, it's because the lights turned off. So my thoughts on Jameis is, so first of all, I don't really care actually how much he passes, just because passing volume is not a primary driver of points. It's really what it's going to be in the Scott Fishbowl format. It's going to be efficiency. It's going to be touchdowns. And I think that I think that they will pass more. I mean, look at what they were dealing with last year. They lost Michael Thomas for the year. And so they basically had to use Kamara as like a pure grinding running back. And their pass game options were Marquez Callaway, Deontay Hardy, kind of sort of Traquan Smith, but he missed some time. So like they were running out like Kenny Stills. They're running out Kevin White. Like there's no team in the league that has drastically improved their supporting cast more than the Saints. Oh, frick. I was going to take Gabe Davis. Anyway, like they all of a sudden they're going to get Michael Thomas back. Then they draft Chris Olave. Then they get Jarvis Landry. Any one of those three would have been by far the best wide receiver on last year's team. So it would surprise me if they play quite as slow and run heavy with a complete change in personnel. And even to the extent that they do, I think that they're still going to be pretty effective. So Jameis Winston is a guy I would put in a little bit of a different tier than the rest of the guys here. I think that at worst, he has a pretty safe floor, even if they do play pretty slow. But I think he actually has a real ceiling if they decide to let him be famous again, throwing to Thomas and Landry and Olave.
So Balls is life. I'm sitting over here in Culture Coach or Dennis in the group chat for the Sleeper app says he hates his he hates his roster. He doesn't have any idea where he stands with bye weeks. And then Balls is life says, I love those last 3 picks from Culture. So that's pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I think that it's going to get interesting here with the quarterbacks because now you can end up taking.
Oh, frick! I was going to take Bateman. Oh God.
Culture Coach should have gotten Bateman with one of those.
Okay, well, I should have not taken Winston. I should have taken I thought I would at least get one of Robinson, Davis, or Bateman, and then I thought that I'd be able to get one of them on the way back. I should have taken them the first time, and then hope that I would get Winston, but it didn't happen.
So real quick with like the quarterback position, I mean, you could take a third quarterback and block somebody out if you really truly believe in another quarterback. If not, I think it's just worth staying away.
I'm considering it, but I was really planning to get one of Robinson, Davis, or Bateman. I didn't think I'd have to make this kind of decision.
One of these quarterbacks had a top 10 completion percentage.
Yeah, I'm still gonna not do that. Okay, well, I think with the way I'm setting up this team, where I'm going to be pretty wide receiver heavy, I think that I have an opportunity to insulate myself for the first half of the season if things go wrongly with this player, which means that I'm going to be able to bring them back at the end of the season, to help out, which means that I'm not a religious person, but in this case, I am going to praise Godwin.
That was almost one of the winning contests for Trophy Smack. By the way, if you guys go check out TrophySmack.com, TrophySmack.com, you guys can go customize your own belts. You guys can customize your own trophies. I know a lot of the people in here.
Jay.
What?
Washington was so far down the ADP. The ADP is in the hundreds. You felt the need to do that.
Well, the ADP is not accurate on here. I like Jay's approach, man. He's going to grab his guys.
I love every single part of Jay's team. That's my problem. He keeps taking everyone that I want.
You want to trade teams with him?
Yes.
Oh, Larry got Zach Wilson. I should have expected that. That's what I was talking about. Larry's picked up on every cue.
I can't think of a guy that's less fitting for the Scott Fishbowl format than Zach Wilson.
Larry's picked up.
And I say that as a guy who's drafting a lot of Zach Wilson in best ball.
Larry's picked up on every single cue that I've laid down. Literally, he is.
Zach Wilson had a completion percentage last year of 56%. That's not good. All
right, so at this point, I'm not seeing anybody that I truly love at this point. So I'm going to go once again with best player available. I'm going to take a wide receiver that we don't know the outcome to the Deshaun Watson case yet. If he has Deshaun Watson, we're talking about the league winning pick.
Half measure. Just take actual Watson. Don't be a coward. Don't fuck around with Amari Cooper like a coward.
No, because Amari Cooper can still be a decent wide receiver with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, Jacoby Brissett can throw him 8-yard outs all the time.
Half measure.
I still I don't want to lose my draft by selecting Deshaun Watson. Plus, I don't want to draft Deshaun Watson.
I don't want to lose my draft.
I don't want to draft Deshaun Watson. I have one share of Deshaun Watson.
That's fair enough. I support that.
I have probably close to over 100 best ball drafts. I think I have 120 so far this season, and I have one share of Deshaun Watson, and it was an auto pick.
You know what I realized that I fucked up is that I shouldn't have taken Godwin because I have freaking Kyler, and so that makes me want to take Hopkins, but I can't take Hopkins and Godwin because I just don't have any players for the first half of the season.
See, this is why we do these drafts, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm learning. I'm learning that if I take Kyler, I can't take Godwin because I got to try and leave myself an option for. Okay, well, I don't like anything that's happening right now. I don't like seeing Thomas go off the board as one of my stacks. I don't like seeing London, who's my favorite wide receiver, go off the board.
And Jacob's pivoting so hard right now. Oh,
I'm just like, I'm looking at this queue, and it just keeps disappearing.
Deshaun Watson's still on. I mean, I'm sorry, Dawson Knox is still on there.
Yeah, so I took Dawson Knox. I put out my tweet. You probably saw it.
Yeah, I did. That's why I brought it up.
I took Dawson Knox. As for the record, his ADP right now, I want to say is what, Dynasty tight end 9, Dynasty tight end 10, something in that range.
He was 12 last time I saw it, which was like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
So I just got him at the tight end 17 Dynasty in tight end premium at the end of the 13th round in one of the Patreon leagues, which is supposedly a steal. He went after Evan Ingram, for instance. I think what this tells me is that I have a future as a populist dictator.
Yeah, I saw that. I looked up populist dictator, and then I forgot to actually read about it because I had no idea what that meant.
Well, it's like like Mussolini, whatever. Someone who is like, has power to meld the minds of a nation into doing things against their own interests. I feel like that could be my destiny. Getting out of here, getting these patrons to go out there and draft Elijah Moore at the 5.1. Meanwhile, I'm getting Nick Chubb at the end of the 7th. I call the phrase pump and dump.
Dude, I think you can find that on Pornhub. Pretty sure.
Okay, maybe that's not quite the way that I mean it. When you're like, when you're talking up a stock, right? You're like, oh, this stock's great. This stock's great. Everybody should buy the stock. Everybody should buy the stock. People with Top Shots, they were like, see, these have actual value. You get to watch these. Watch these Top Shots, these gifts, and then all of a sudden it's like, what do you know? Like that person's actually just selling them out the side door. I'm doing the opposite. I'm doing the dump and pump. I'm dumping on Nick Chubb, and then on the other side of my mouth, I'm
said
buying
side
up
door.
Nick
That
Chubb.
reminds me of the gas station scene on Pornhub. All right, so let's go ahead.
Gas station. Do you like gas porn?
I've never seen it. It's just popped up on the recommended feeds.
Why is it recommended? What's the situation? Walk me through the plot of gas station related pornography.
Never mind. I was going to go into it. Can you hear that jet, by the way? The jet's just so loud I can't even hear your questions. Do you hear that?
I'm just like, I'm picturing you roll up to the gas station. Like what are the options available to you? Like, is it a matter of like, do you want like premium, ethanol, diesel? Do you have like a menu of options available to you?
And then instead of the gas pump, can you pull it out? It's like,
in terms of the subdivisions, right? So it's like when I do my work, right? I'm going on Westlaw, which is our law website, right? And, I'm going like, okay, I want employment cases. Okay, I want employment cases at the Human Rights Tribunal. I'm just wondering on like, on Pornhub, are we going to like, I want gasoline related, and then we're gonna select diesel, then we're gonna select like they come to the pump for you, or are you going inside, maybe you're going inside after hours, are you utilizing the convenience store functions, right? Getting a couple, maybe you get like a little 2 for $5 energy drink before the fornication. I'm just trying to figure out how we best utilize the gas station facilities to our advantage.
Jacob, I tried to use the jet process. I tried to use the jet to move on. So
I'm giving you golden content, and you're trying to not take it. The chat is enjoying
it. It was amazing. It really was. We also lost six listeners in the past minute.
We lost 6 listeners talking about gas porn. I don't think so. I don't think we had 6 in the first place.
Well, no, we actually have a good amount right now. So real quick, Miles Sanders is somebody who like ran the ball a ton last year. Not as much as we wanted to see, especially the Tampa Bay game was disappointing. But I believe he was still like top 15-ish in rushing first downs, if I remember correctly. Anyways, Miles Sanders is a guy. Oh no, that was explosive runs. Miles Sanders is a guy that I think if he just gets a few more touchdowns, he's involved a little bit more in the offense, we could see an explosion and like a gas explosion, and we can end up
like your Five Guys explosion.
Yes. I was thinking more of the gas station, but Miles Sanders is somebody though that we could actually see explode on the scene and have even higher efficiency than he had last year. Like he was super efficient last year, and still he did not get the ball enough. But he could even be more efficient, like J.K. Dobbins level efficiency levels. J.K. Dobbins efficiency levels. If we see him just see the ball a little bit more often, we definitely want to see more goal line touches and no more Boston Scott. I am a huge Kenny Gainwell advocate. Actually, like I love Kenny Gainwell. I think that he's going to be a stud in the NFL. So that makes it a little more difficult for me, but I still think that Miles Sanders has a ton of value here at 9.5.
Yeah, so I took a guy that Chase hates. I took Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think that as Twitter would say, gasoline-related pornography is great news for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Everything's great news for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Everything's coming up for St. Brown.
If you don't know Twitter.
No, in all honesty, first of all, I need to change the average age of my wide receiver room because I got a couple of olds in Diggs and Keenan. And frankly, I consider Godwin old because I'm just that much of a perv. And so anyway, I needed to get another young player. And Amon-Ra St. Brown had an excellent rookie season. Pretty low cost. Comes in as my wide receiver 5 in round 9. If the haters and the losers are correct that he was actually just a mirage from Swift and Hawkinson, I think it's a pretty manageable opportunity cost. And if the haters and losers are wrong, I get to lord it over them the entire year because I took him in this very meaningful mock draft.
You know what's crazy?
We only have 2 rounds left in this version of the Scott Fish Bowl. Hey.
They only put 12. Yeah, I mean we can keep going.
You only put 11. You only put 11.
I can add rounds on if you want to keep going.
Add like 2 more. Add 2 more.
I mean, I can keep going as long as you guys want to keep going. I'm down.
Add at least 2 more.
Hey, let us know in the chat. Actually, let us know in the chat. You guys want to do more rounds? If we get 4 people that say they want to do more rounds, let us know.
Okay.
And I'll add them on. How about that?
I support that plan. Thank you, Ball's Life. Any downside is baked in on Amon-Ra.
All right, we got 1.
Jader wants to play. Blog wants to play. He's saying so in the sleeper chat.
Blog, come on to the YouTube page, man.
Come on, Blog. What are you doing, Blog?
YouTube. Well, he might be. Yeah, okay, yeah. We got everybody in.
Oh, Devonta Smith is gone. That's sad. Sadness.
All right.
I want to take Devonta Smith.
Where do I change the rounds? Oh, I don't
man, I was gonna cowardly handcuff Russell Gage with Chris Godwin, but that plan is over, unfortunately.
Wait, how do
Pickens? They're getting a little slim.
Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. All right, we're good. Bench. Cool update. We're gonna add on 3 rounds, and then we'll ask you guys again.
No, 3 rounds. Three rounds is a firm cap. I gotta go. Alan Lazard. We got an Alan Lazard pick. They have Klugie's in the draft.
Wait, what?
I'm choking. Alan Lazard is what.
Wait, do I need to refresh this page? Are you
sure?
That
actually, are we sure that's not Dave Kluge? Because he took Damian Harris and then Alan Lazard.
It's Chris Carson.
Oh my God! Really? You're gonna troll me with taking Tony Pollard to pick before me?
Oh, yes, Dennis.
Personal attack.
Yes, Dennis. I'm refreshing this page real quick. Let's see. Yeah, okay, we got
attack. Okay, well, I'm at a point now where everybody's getting way too comfortable thinking that there's no quarterbacks coming off the board. And so I'm going to say, fuck you guys. I took Amon-Ra St. Brown, so I'd be torn between two quarterbacks.
Don't do it.
And I think at this point, it's time for Jared Goff. We're going to take Jared Goff.
No, that was my dude. I thought he'd definitely make it back.
Oh, no, he won't be making it back.
God.
I'm making it back now.
So he was the quarterback with the top 10 completion percentage. He was that dude, and now he has weapons. Now he didn't have anybody, and he had a top 10 completion percentage last season. Jared Goff's a lot better than people give him credit for.
Well, he's going to be right. That's what I said I wanted to do. I said I wanted to do, one riskier quarterback, one safer quarterback at the end of the draft. We got Winston, we got Goff. I feel good about my quarterback room now. So now I just got to worry about, probably I'm on 5 wide receivers. I probably want to get like a stack of. I mean, we're not going to see the entirety of this draft of what I would do. But what I'd probably do is I'd want to add 2 or 3 more wide receivers, probably 2 more, like wide receivers that I feel comfortable starting. So I have 7 for the 5 spots, maybe even an 8th. And then the rest of my entire draft would just be running backs, where I'm just going to play RB2 roulette with that second slot. So structurally, this is really what I want to be doing in my draft with a hero RB approach. Is I want to lock in my RB1 production. I want to be betting on that position to stay healthy and to produce. If it doesn't, then that's kind of the way the cookie crumbles in a 2,000 plus person tournament. But what was that? You like cookie crumbles? Are you a fan of that phrase?
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a fan of that phrase, but also
you like the way the cookie crumbles. There you go.
I just thought it was so cheesy that
I'm glad I could crumble your cookie.
Whoa, Jacob's on one tonight. Let's go, dude. I think we should go 22 rounds with this draft to see where it goes.
So yeah, it's cute that you think that I was working. What I was actually doing was I was at the bar with the 2 partners. We were having a business
I figured that
meeting.
was it. I figured that was what you're doing.
So
you can't fool me.
I'm a few drinks in before this podcast. I had to rush back from this really nice bar where cocktails were $24.
Are you paying for them?
Absolutely not.
Well, thank you for joining us. You should have brought one back.
You have to pay 1 Best Ball Mania entry per cocktail.
I've never thought about it that way, and I should have. So I took Albert O. I already have Russell Wilson.
That. I support that.
Yeah, like we actually, and I know Russell Wilson doesn't use the tight end, yada, yada, yada. But Courtland Sutton hasn't been able to stay healthy. We have Jerry Jeudy, who hasn't been very good so far. So all it's going to take is one of those guys to not actually, perform at a high level. And we could talk about Russell Wilson actually having some connections with Albert O. I know that Albert O was supposed to be Drew Lock's guy, but that's not going to be the case. I'm sold on Albert O for the season. Irv Smith Jr. went next, and that was going to be my next pick. I'm so mad.
You hate to see it.
By the way, let me say something real quick. When you get sniped, that's not somebody taking your guy the pick before you, right? Like that's somebody reaching multiple rounds to take the guy that you were going to reach multiple rounds for. Like a snipe, a lot of people say, oh man, I just got sniped by this player. Well, you didn't get sniped. He was on the queue. Like he was within 10 picks of that player. Like that's not really a reach. He was going to go in that round or, within 10 picks. That's not a snipe. Yeah. A snipe is like when somebody reaches multiple rounds to grab a guy that you never see them grabbing.
I'm glad that you were able to provide this lecture to us all on the true definition of sniping.
I know. Well, I mean,
have you considered giving that to the military?
Oh, what sniping is?
Yeah, last I checked, he was dead. But it's nice to know that I podcast with Chris Kyle, the American sniper, out here to give us a full.
All right, so who?
I don't know where Shane is tonight, but I feel like. I'm really upset that I'm a little sauced up for this one. I have the jokes flowing, and Shane's not here for my 2-minute soliloquy on gas station related.
You should message him. Tell him we need him.
Sniper rifles. Where is he? What is he doing? He's recording their show.
He was doing no. He had Dynasty Trades HQ because we went one night later than we normally do.
Oh, I see. Man, could you imagine what would happen? If say you didn't reschedule, and Shane and I just got to record on Wednesday night.
No, Shane was actually in the show last night. It was for Trophy Smack.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder what would this podcast make it? Would it be the last podcast we record if you ever miss one and it's just Shane and I for an hour? Would that be it? Would we get canceled?
You guys would get on and have no idea what to talk about. You guys would literally get on.
We would probably talk about the Supreme Court for about 20 minutes.
Would we? Or would you?
I think we would. I think we would talk about the perils of union organizing in the 21st century.
That's an auto pick. God, these auto picks kill me.
We probably talk about Hinge, the dating app experience. I would ask him what it's like, to be on dating apps without any hair. He would ask me what it's like to be on dating apps with hair. We'd reach a mutual understanding. Yeah, I appreciate my follically challenged friend.
All right, so are there any values that are left on the board at this point?
Well, Ryan Tannehill was a great value, I think, and that he just went off the board there. I think that was a phenomenal value. Quepton gets him as his QB3. That's a really good value in round 11, in my opinion.
I actually was going to take him if he made it back. What about like
you can take Carson Wentz. You want a homer take Carson Wentz?
I know. I'm not a homer anymore. I'm not a fan of Carson Wentz. Holy shit. He did well last year in the Scott Fish Bowl, didn't he?
Yeah, because he wasn't allowed to pass, so he had a good completion percentage and a good touchdown interception ratio.
All right, so I got to go back to my roots, right? Because I have like Denver that's still here, and I have to get the Week 17 matchup. No, I got to get the
Melvin Gordon time.
No,
you have 7,000 running backs.
I got to get the Week 17 matchup, bro.
Oh, you're gonna take Sky Moore or MVS?
Well, let's see if Will Rail, who keeps on logging in and out of Sleeper, I think he might be having issues right now. He took Kadarius Toney. That's actually a great pick. That was a pick I was thinking about.
That was going to be my next pick.
I was thinking about it, but I'm going to take Sky Moore at this point, and I hope that
my next pick.
I can get some output.
I'm watching my top 2 picks go off the board here with Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney. You hate to see it, you really do. Hey,
you know that I'm the original Kadarius Toney truther. I loved him coming in.
Yeah, it is pretty funny that we talk about the dump and pump. When I put up that tweet, I was like, what player at each position is most synonymous with my account? And the most answered wide receiver is Kadarius Toney. You must hate that so much.
No way. That was your what?
Yeah, well, I very much
hated Kadarius Toney. You hated him so much.
Yeah, and once upon a time, Canada and America, were at war, right? We burned down the White House. Now you have a White House again. Times change.
I can't with you.
I don't want to pick anybody right now. That Kadarius and Sky Moore are gone. Can I trade down? Can I trade my?
No, just take Carson Wentz. That was your former quarterback with the Colts.
Well, I certainly won't be doing that. I'm between 2 wide receivers here. I don't see a tight end I want to take. I don't see a quarterback I want to take. There's 1,000 running backs that are the same to me. But there's 2 wide receivers here I think that are a tier a little bit above the rest. One of them is fun. One of them is boring. So I will take the fun one, who I think is
James
actually
Williams?
worse. No, everybody knows, I'm from the lovely, lovely country of Canada. And so I'll support my Canadian roots here. I'll take Mapletron.
I love Chase Claypool. You know that. You got, I already liked Claypool. I thought he was going to be a stud this season. And you made me, fall in love with Claypool.
Slot pool.
Because he's going to play the slot in 2022. He's going to play the slot. And I already thought he was going to play slot because he led the team in slot percentages from last year for any receiver that's still on there. But George Pickens ain't going to play the slot.
That's true.
Deontay Johnson ain't going to play the slot.
He's not going to play the slot.
And they run a similar version of the wide zone run scheme. They just run a little bit more spread out with bigger receivers. Dude, we're talking about a massive, massive play with Chase Claypool, who pretty much profiled as the tight end coming in the draft with Calvin Johnson-esque, profile. Dude, he's going to play a ton of the slot. He's going to block a lot, don't get me wrong, but he's also going to get a ton of play action work, which I love, Jacob, because I think
it results in
high efficiency plays.
I want to trademark this because we are the official podcast of the Chase Claypool big slot movement. We're covering the stories that nobody else is covering here on Dynasty Intervention. Do you prefer to trademark slot pool or maple slot?
Slot pool.
Slot pool. All right.
Yeah, it reminds me of pocket pool, but it's slot pool.
I like slot pool because it's what do you do when you're playing pool? You shoot it into slots.
Dude, I see you guys, by the way, yelling from. Wait, where did fantasy football bald guy come in?
Fantasy football guy. First of all, I'm pretty sure Shane.
Did you pause the show?
First of all, I'm quite convinced that Shane is actually the fantasy football guy. So I don't know why he's in the chat, but he's not here.
God, what's that from? Acknowledge me. It's so funny.
I'm not sure. Also, Gabriel Davis red pill tweet. Did I tweet about Gabriel Davis and a red pill? It sounds like something I would tweet, but I don't recall doing it. Ball's Life is asking about my Gabriel Davis red pill tweet, which again sounds like exactly something I would tweet, but I can't remember actually having done.
Oh, I love it. All right, man. We're gonna end it for sure at the 14th round.
Yeah, that's a good plan to me.
Yeah. I have a couple players up that I really like at their current values, and I still feel like this ADP is just so screwy right now. But is there any player that you're eyeing in particular? I know we're on a podcast. Yes. Like, I don't care that we're on a podcast.
But well, I have one more wide receiver that I actually want to take before I tab out a wide receiver for the rest of the draft. So I hope that I can get him. We'll see. It's not exactly a stealth pick or anything like that.
Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, I like to welcome Tyler Lockett to the team.
I honestly like Tyler Lockett in the 12th round. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Drew Lock likes his targets close. I mean, he throws a better long ball, but
plus, like, I think of Drew Lock as like a fairly narcissistic person, right? Like, he likes to sit on the bench and rap. You know, he likes to, right? So he's gonna look downfield and he's gonna see another person named Lock, and he's gonna think that he's throwing it to himself. I think people are underestimating the narrative of Drew Lock throwing to Tyler Lockett. It's a lock and lock connection, right? I think that means something. Culture is like really, really drafting the Jacob Brand picks. Like, he started off on the wrong foot drafting Zeke, but then he went Pollard and Evans. Although he handcuffed Zeke with Pollard. Sorry. I have to. I'm required by law to boo you, Culture, for handcuffing Zeke with Pollard. Boo.
Why?
Handcuff, you're a coward. Because it's a 2,500 person tournament. Why are we handcuffing in a 2,500 person tournament? Come on, people.
Why? Elaborate.
Because you only get so many chances, right? Like, it's not a 12-person league, right? You're not protecting anything. Handcuff by nature is protectionist, right? You're protecting whatever equity you have. The equity you have entering the Scott Fish Bowl is like slim to none. You have a 1 in, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, how many entries are there? There's about 3,000?
Yep.
Right? So you have like a 1 in 3,000 shot to win this thing. So whatever your equity is coming in, that's what it is. 1 in 3,000. That is tiny. That's minute. That's like 0.003%, I think. So you want to maximize the utility of every pick, right? And the odds that Pollard and Zeke can both hit at their ADP or both have is very small. And the odds that they can both hit in the same week is basically minute, right? So you only get so many bullets at this roster. It's very deep. You can't play the waiver wire. So, you know, if you want to take Zeke, take Zeke. If you want to take Pollard, take Pollard. But I'm not taking them both. I'd much rather have seen him take Melvin Gordon, for instance, at that pick, where now you have the opportunity. And Melvin Gordon, Tony Pollard are kind of the same idea for this year, where their running backs probably have some form of standalone role and then really fantastic upside if the starter goes down. I'd much rather have, you know, Zeke and Gordon or Javonte and Pollard than have Javonte and Gordon or Zeke and Pollard in a tournament like this. That's generally how I feel even in a 12-person league, but especially like with 3,000 entries. You know, I'm not doing anything that reduces my maximum ceiling because you're hitting a really, really narrow ceiling. You really do need to get a lot of things right to win this tournament. Speaking of getting things right, I love your pick, Ronald Jones.
So Ronald Jones faces the Denver Broncos defense, who is absolutely brutal up against the run. And this is through the AFC West. Like, I wish we could just do every single Monday night game, because I think it's 18 games or 16 games, where it's AFC West versus AFC West. And we're going to see shootout after shootout. And I know that some of these defenses are really good. Like, the Broncos defense is good on the outside.
And they play the NFC West, too. So you're getting the two highest scoring divisions playing each other. Right? You're getting 49ers, Rams, Cardinals against Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, and Chiefs in every possible iteration. Also the Seahawks, but we're going to ignore them.
We're going to leave them out. Yeah. I mean, we're just talking about a massive shit show in terms of scoring. And in the week 17, we're going to see the Kansas City Chiefs go up against. I now have Sky Moore and Ronald Jones. One of them is guaranteed to go off. And when you talk about the 11th or 11th and 12th round up against my top picks in the entire draft, I think we're going to see like some magic happen. Now I get to target some New York Giants here very soon and try to get some Giants on my team to help my other stack with, of course, Jonathan Taylor, Matt Ryan, and Pittman. So that's pretty much my goal from here on out is finding those stacks. I see like Nyheim Hines. I don't want to stack those. There are some other plays, and I think I'm going to grab other people's handcuffs from here on out. Oh, God, that was going to be one of them. Tyler Algier was going to be my pick.
Well, I'm finally going to get my RB2. I consider my real victory in a draft is to be the last person to draft my RB2. I accomplished that with flying colors in this draft. We were in round 13, and I remain RB2 list. This is honestly structurally exactly where I want to be. I want to be an early tight end, one early running back, one early quarterback, then two of the later quarterbacks to platoon or take the one that ends up separating. Then I want to be going 7 wide receivers deep because I can start 5. So I want to have a 2 wide receiver buffer. And then I basically just want to take running backs the entire rest of the way. Maybe mix in one more wide receiver, maybe mix in one backup tight end. But I'm really a fan of this structure. So if you are,
look at Jay's roster. Jay, do you follow like Jacob? Like, is this actually a thing?
Oh my God, he's only at 1 wide. Yeah, so Jay is doing exactly what I love to do, right? He's got the early quarterbacks, he's got the early tight end. Yeah, if you're trying to do a hero RB build, I see a lot of people on Twitter say like, I'm doing hero RB, I'm doing hero RB, and they do things that I think are like structurally not great within those confines. I will share this board afterwards. If you are looking to do a hero RB Scott Fishbowl team, I certainly stand by mine, and I would equally stand by Jay's. I think that Jay's team.
You like Jay's team better than your team?
Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I love it. I love Jay's team. He's done everything. He's like doing everything that I'm doing. It's awesome. I love it. I'm gonna take Daryl Henderson as my RB2.
I should have guessed that one. I went with Rachaad White just because.
I love that too. I would have loved Rachaad White as well.
Who do you have higher, Rachaad White or Henderson?
I do have Henderson higher, but by like it's like a 51-49 situation. I love both. What I will say is because I'm not going to get a chance to build out this running back room because we're only doing one more draft or one more round. But what I did want to mention, sorry,
we can go all 22.
We're good.
I can change it to like 30 seconds.
I'd be fine with that, honestly.
All right, hey, after this round, guys, we're gonna go all 22. And
if people leave and we auto them, that's fine too, honestly.
Yeah, like I'm down to do that. Let me make sure that this is right, and I'll change it. Let me make sure I can do it. Yeah, I can do it.
Whatever is a fast. Go to 30 seconds.
So Sco, Lynn, I'm guessing that's New Hampshire, maybe. NH, your second pick will be less than 30 seconds. And we'll hammer these last picks out. We won't be able to talk as much. We won't be able to really do it. So we might get screwed over with a couple picks, but let's make it happen.
But yeah, what I was saying, and you'll see as it plays out over the next few rounds. But what I want to do is like once I've built up my wide receiver core, I think that there are 3 main mistakes that people make doing some iteration of zero RB or hero RB in any format. So I want to cover those quick. And this is not me saying like you have to draft hero RB or zero RB. It's the best way to draft. It's actually saying like, no, there's actually a lot of ways to royally fuck up hero RB or zero RB. One way to do that is that people draft, in my opinion, the wrong archetype of wide receiver, right? When you're drafting wide receiver in a hero RB or zero RB build, the beauty is you're drafting a lot of them and you're drafting a lot of them early. So they don't actually all have to hit. So you want to be taking advantage of the fact that you're having more of them by being able to extend yourself to some riskier options. So I think Jay's done a great job of that. I think I've done a decent job of that, where you go with like a guy like Godwin, who's going to be missing half the season. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Chase Claypool are both some younger options with some high upside, also some reasons to be pretty potentially bearish. You see in Jay's, he goes with a rookie in Burks. Elijah's second-year player. Hopkins going to miss half the year.
I know who your next pick is.
Who's my next pick? You tell me.
Nope, I'm not going to say it, but nope, I wasn't going to guess that. I was going to guess Evan Ingram.
Oh, he was in my queue. I wanted to get on a running back, but I was considering Evan Ingram. So,
all right, I'm going David Njoku here, high upside tight end play. Oh shit, Chase still last time.
Someone take Njoku.
I'll still go Evan Ingram after if somebody else takes Njoku. I don't really care.
To that point, like I think that's one big issue, right? I think Jay done it honestly, arguably even better than I've done it. Actually,
Kenny Gainwell, great pick. Great
in terms
pick.
of layering in these sort of high risk wide receivers, right? You want these wide receivers because you don't need them all to hit. What you need is about 3 or 4 of your 7 or 8 to hit in a massive way. So props to Jay on that front. Then what you want to do is you want to make sure, I should say actually 4 issues. That's one. Number 2 is you want to make sure that you're winning every position except for running back, right? So one thing that I see sometimes people go like all the way down the board with wide receiver and then they start dealing with the other positions. No, you want to make sure that you're getting an early quarterback and an early tight end, because if you're punting deep on running back, you want to at least win not just wide receiver, but quarterback and tight end. So you want to be taking an early quarterback. You want to be taking an early tight end. Number 3 is you want to take more wide receivers than you need to start. The biggest issue I see is people stop at wide receiver at the exact amount of their flex and then pivot to running back. Then you end up with the worst of both worlds, because you're actually very fragile now at wide receiver, where if one of them disappoints, if one of them gets hurt, you don't have enough wide receivers to actually win that position. And then you're still losing the running back position because you are punting it until later and you're losing every position. And the last thing is people don't layer the running backs appropriately. People either play it too safe or they play it too risky. What you want to do is mix over the depth of your running back room. Some guys who have like a clearly definable role. So like a Naheem Hines, for example, is a guy. A JD McKissick, for example, is a guy with like raw upside bets. You know, someone like
that's why you follow the Discord.
Someone like a Tyler Algier is a great example, right? So like I literally in like my bulletproof Discord, I have like an entire tier of just shitty running backs. I rank them, every single running back that's not a starting running back, I rank them for everyone that's on an NFL roster from like 1 to 90. And you can go and check that out. You can check my shitty running back tier list. But anyway, that's like my soapbox in terms of how you want to do it. You want to draft more wide receivers than you need to start. You want to win quarterback and tight end. You want to be able to draft wideband wide receivers, and then you want to layer the types of archetype of running back. And shout out to Jay. I don't know if he's like, if he comes up on this naturally or if he follows me, but I mean, I'm just like so in love with everything that he's built in this team. That's like exactly how I'd want to build a team. Love the TDP pick. That's a great pick. That would have been my next running back off the board.
So real quick, let's discuss taking some of these rookies, some of these later round picks.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota went 14th at the 3rd pick. Kenny Pickett, 14-10. Desmond Ridder, 15-3. Mitch Trubisky at 15-2. Honestly, like I hate the Desmond Ridder pick because he's not going to be accurate in his first year. But, you know, we have Kenny Pickett who probably will have some easy completions and whatnot, but won't be passing a ton, probably won't be accurate. You know, are these wasted picks at this point, or are we actually making good decisions by taking quarterbacks in the 14th and 15th round?
So I don't mind the Trubisky pick because it was his QB3. You know, Trubisky's going to play early in the season. There's a chance he plays the entire season. I think that serves a purpose. I'm not sure that Desmond Ridder as a QB5 serves a purpose. You know, like
is that this QB5?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Right, like you're only starting 2 quarterbacks. I think you need help at other positions. He only has 4 wide receivers. You know, and 2 of them are rookies, right? So to me, if I'm doing that kind of build where I'm going early running back, early quarterback, and he only has Irv Smith at tight end, what I'm doing is I'm focusing on the positions that I'm weakest, right? So in my position, I deprioritized running back early. I've taken 3 running backs in a row. If I were doing Quepton's draft, where I prioritized running back and quarterback early, I'm probably not taking Pickett and Ridder. I'm probably taking, I'm layering in as many wide receivers as possible, and I'm taking a bunch of tight ends, right? Because he only has Irv Smith. I don't want to be solely reliant on Irv Smith. Why am I podcasting from work?
Did you clock out yet? Did you clock out?
Yeah, I'm podcasting from work because I live in Pacific time. So what that means is that I finish work right about the time that we press record. So if I don't get off a little early, it means that I am podcasting from the office. All right, I'll take.
I love the Deonta Foreman pick. They're going to use him in goal line situations, and first down situations. Actually, they're hoping that he can be the bigger, more physical back that Chuba Hubbard and Chris McCaffrey are not, and they're tired of banging up Chris McCaffrey between the tackles. So any kind of between the tackles type plays, we're going to see a lot of Deonta Foreman, which is typically in 3rd and short. You're going to see 0.5. I mean, Deonta Foreman could have 4 to 5 minimum, first downs per game. Mm-hmm. And then we could see him with a touchdown or 2. So I think it's a great play. And if something happens to Chris McCaffrey, they don't like Chuba Hubbard. They don't.
No, they absolutely don't like Chuba.
Deonta Foreman could absolutely be a slam or a home run or slam. Sorry, grand slam pick. Wow, I stumbled through that. At this point, I'm going to take Drew Lock. I know I hate the pick, but he has good receivers. This is a guy who could end up performing at a decent level. I believe so.
Do you think he starts over Geno Smith? Obviously, yes, he made the pick, but explain why you think he starts over Geno Smith.
Rushing upside, essentially, and just the fact that if Drew Lock can actually perform at a decent level, they don't look as bad with that trade. They don't look as bad. So I'm not saying that they have an investment in Drew Lock.
They do have an investment in Drew Lock, yeah.
They have a very small investment in Drew Lock. But if they have any kind of success shown with Drew Lock, then they look like geniuses. So even if he performs and gives them a 10 and 7 season, which I don't see happening. Like, I don't see that in a million years. But if it happens, an 8 and 9 season, that's still not bad. And so I think that Drew Lock is a piece where they could actually, this was not a bad choice by us. We're still rebuilding. We're still trying to figure it out, but at least we're competitive this year. And I think they'll stick with him if he has a few good games. If he struggles up against the Rams, if he struggles up against the 49ers, if he struggles up against Cardinals, but he keeps it competitive, he'll keep playing.
Yep. I think that's a fair enough point. I like it. Who are you going with here? By the way, for anyone that's, I guess nobody listens on audio, but my last pick was Hunter Henry. Not that exciting. I needed a backup.
I love Hunter Henry, though.
He's fun.
I love Hunter Henry.
As people who listened to our show last year know, I picked Hunter Henry like fucking every week on our tight end zones at the top 12 bit.
So right now we're actually we're discussing so fast. We're on 30-second time clock, and I just took my guy, Brevin Jordan. I think he's going to stud this year.
Brevin Jordan.
I think that he's going to see all the snaps. I think Davis Mills is going to be a monster, and Brevin Jordan is going to win people money in DFS.
Brevin Jordan is one of my favorite best ball picks. I'm going to check Brevin Jordan exposure.
So many shares.
So he's like round 18 level cheap.
I just took him in the 17th round.
Yeah, I have 14% Brevin Jordan, and he's a guy that even goes undrafted sometimes. I think Jay, you're flying too close to the sun, buddy. I know you're really trying to play the Jacob Sanderson greatest hits album here, but Laviska Shenault really,
he saw 100 targets last year, right?
We left that off the album this year.
Was that 2 years ago?
Last year. Here's a guy who's pretty boring, but he is my favorite mega late running back pick right now, which is Sony Michel. This Dolphins backfield, in my opinion, is so underpriced. This team has been really successful in running the ball in this scheme. This scheme has been really successful in running the ball every team that it's been brought to. They invest in the offensive line. It's improved. I don't know who it's going to be. I can't tell you for sure if it's going to be Edmonds or Michel or Mostert. It might be each of them at a given point of the year. But there is more value in this backfield than is being drafted. So I think Edmonds is underdrafted. I think Sony is underdrafted. I'm off on Mostert, but if that's the guy that you want to put your chips on, I don't blame you. I just think in general, people are factoring in guys like Gaskin or Zaquandre White as being in the mix. Those guys are either going to miss the roster, or they're going to be inactive, or if they are, then someone else is going to be off the roster and inactive. Personally, I like Michel and Edmonds because they to me, profile as the guys who are able to play in all phases the most. And Michel is the only guy on that backfield who really has the workhorse frame. So Sony's a guy that I think has standalone value and a ton of contingent upside. So I love Sony Michel. And then I'm just going to keep rolling down the running back list here. I'll take another guy that I'm known to love, which is Jett McKinnon. He's a guy that I think also has a potential standalone role as the passing down back. We'll see. And then he's a guy where, he got to start. They let him start over CH in the playoffs. He averaged 17 points a game. I don't think it's going to happen. But what we've seen out of Jerick McKinnon is that when he gets an opportunity, he can start in stretches. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a month-long stretch of fantasy value again. So as we're building up this running back room, I'm looking for a mix of some standalone value.
No!
Oh, my God. Yes, Larry.
No, there's no way. I don't know how to pick. Oh, okay. I'm going KJ.
Oh, my God.
Because it's a stack. Are you kidding me? Dude, Larry.
We need to put this clip online this week of you getting sniped on the worst wide receiver in the NFL.
Dude, you did not just snipe me on Tom Peoples-Jones. Come on.
Yes,
I know I queued it up, but I don't think you got that feed that fast. Please tell me in the chat if you got the feed that fast. That's crazy. You do not just take John People-Jones from me, man. Come on.
I'm so happy.
That's my stud. But it's okay because I already took Amari Cooper earlier, so that would have been a bad pick anyways. KJ Hamler is still tied in.
Oh, you got to handcuff Amari with Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Is KJ Hamler an option if one of these receivers gets hurt or something? Like, is he actually a good pick? Because he could be a monster with the deep ball. And this is the exact type of wide receiver that Russell Wilson loves, right? The small, quick guys that know how to get open.
Yeah, I mean, I think the nice thing about Denver is, like, you know, we look at how hard the market is attacking Sutton, and to a slightly lesser extent Judy. You know, everybody expects that this offense is going to take a big step forward. I do too. Russ is fantastic. Oh, Chris Evans is an awesome pick.
I love Chris Evans. I have him everywhere.
But, you know, Judy and Sutton have not shown enough for us to say that they're a for sure thing, right? Judy is not really Judy hasn't even a season of 10 fantasy points per game in his career, right? What is Jerry Judy? I'm not saying I won't take Jerry Judy. I don't mind Jerry Judy at his cost, but it's not a sure thing he breaks out. Cortland Sutton's had one great year. He's been injured. He's had a not so great year. It's not a sure thing. What's Tim Patrick? Tim Patrick is a professional wide receiver. Okay, he's not a game changer. So the path is open for KJ Hamler. I think he's like a cheaper McCole Hardman in terms of a guy who is probably on the outside looking in of the starting role right now, but he has a lot of contingent upside, and there's nobody necessarily holding him back that you have to be afraid of. And he has that profile from college that we want. So I like KJ Hamler. That's another guy I like is Josh Palmer. KJ Hamler and Josh Palmer, my favorite, two favorite wide receiver picks of the last little while. Them and David Bell.
I like Mechie a lot, but there's one guy that I have to take here just because the massive upside. That's Will Fuller.
Don't you dare? Oh, okay, that's fine. That's okay.
I mean, I was thinking about like taking a Marvin Jones. I was thinking about taking AJ Green just because of the efficiency. I know you like Odell Beckham, so that's probably the guy you were aiming for.
No, I said that's the thing. I get the 7 wide receivers and then I stop. Right? I'm not taking any more wide receivers. I have my 7.
Who were you thinking?
Oh, you're gonna love it when you see it, buddy. You are gonna love it when you see it.
Hilliard, maybe?
No, I got Jay right before here. I'm not giving away any picks with Jay. Jay's trying to read my mind.
He doesn't see it instantly.
Oh, baby. Here we go.
That was actually a great pick with Tyler Bass.
Who do you think we're going to take, baby?
Wait, let me see. Dearness Johnson?
No, we're taking
James White?
The man, the myth, the legend, Eno Benjamin season.
No! What? Are you kidding me? No, that was going to be my last pick. I hate you so much.
We need to get this clip. We need to get this clip on Twitter this week. This is happening.
That's my dude. No, you already took Kadarius Toney from me. You cannot take Eno.
I didn't take Kadarius Toney.
I'm just saying in general. You've taken Eno Benjamin from me so many times.
I always stand for Eno Benjamin. I have the whole set of memes with the Brian Eno album covers. You know, I have the Here Come the Warm Jets content. I love Eno Benjamin. Love Eno Benjamin.
God, I hate you right now. That was gonna be my last pick. I was gonna close out.
I was reading you the beat reports. From Josh Weinfuss, getting us all hyped up.
That's a new thing. I thought. No, fuck.
I
was trying to suggest other guys to get your mind off it too.
Oh, my mind was only going one place, and it was going to Eno Benjamin. That's for sure.
Oh, I hate you.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
What do you think about
one last pick?
What do you think about Otten for Tampa Bay?
I don't mind Otten.
I mean, dude, he just got taken in the 20th round. Like, did he make it too far? Like, we have Hooper going ahead of him. Logan Tom. I mean, those are auto picks. So
I'm trying to figure out a fun pick here for my last one. Okay, I'm going to take – here's kind of a crazy one. But, you know, we talk about these handcuff running backs, right? Everybody wants to draft Alexander Mattison. Everybody wants to draft Tony Pollard, right? These guys, what if someone gets hurt? Here's a guy that has locked in top 10 upside at the most important position in the Scott Fish Bowl if the person ahead of him gets hurt. I want Tyler Huntley on every team.
Okay, that's fun. That's a good one. I have something even more interesting that I want to elaborate on, but we don't have a lot of time to close it out. Plus, people aren't probably listening to the analytic aspect.
Jay with the Romeo Dubs. Throw up the dubs. Love it. I love Romeo dubs.
Dude, you guys are best friends now. So we just
We
become best
are,
friends.
dude. I like Jay, man. You are inside my mind right now. You are taking everybody that interests me here. Who are you taking here? What are we taking? Are you taking Marshawn Lynch? I saw Marshawn Lynch. I think I saw Le'Veon Bell.
Now, so we talked
Oh,
about wide.
you got Camp cut Darrington Evans. Okay, that's fun.
Yeah, so we have a guy who actually works in this system very well. Previous head coach or previous coach that moved over. He has the speed and the acceleration necessary to make it in this offense. They want to run the wide zone run scheme. You know what they need in the wide zone run scheme? They need people who accelerate. They need people with speed to get the gap.
I think David Montgomery is
David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert, right? Like these are the two guys that have the least amount of burst and acceleration in the entire league. So I think that looking at the roster they have, all it's going to take is one injury. And then all of a sudden, Darrington Evans could explode into the scene. The only reason why Darrington Evans, don't forget, Darrington Evans was a 3rd or 4th round pick. The only reason why he didn't make it was because he was injured all the time. So if he could just stay healthy, I mean, you're talking about home run after home run. This could be the Elijah Mitchell pick of the draft. And Darrington Evans, I know he's not a rookie anymore, but he still has not seen an opportunity to succeed. He could end up doing that.
Love it.
Dude, what do you think of the draft? Who do you think won the draft? I know you're going to say Jay, but...
Jay won the draft. Jay did everything that I wanted to do in a draft better than I did it. Jay owned the lids. He owned me. He owned the other 11 people in this room. He owned Scott Fishbowl. Jay's a legend. Jay's a king. Jay is a warrior.
Jay just missed on his second quarterback. That's all. Like Justin Fields is not going to be that dude.
I almost took Justin Fields in the 4th round.
Yeah, but he's not going to do anything. That offensive line
he's going to be throwing touchdowns to Velus Jones, right? Velus Jones when he gets his day passes to leave the senior home to go play football at Soldier Field.
All right, let us know in the chat who you think won the draft. I do have a link if you all want to check out the draft. I think I posted on my Twitter, so just go to my Twitter. You have to go down a bunch because I ended up retweeting some stuff in between. I can actually.
I'm gonna post a screenshot. I just screen grabbed it right now. I'm gonna go post that.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, go over to Jacob's. Jacob, make sure you tag me in that. Go over to Jacob's scene and check out. Let us know who you think won the draft. This was interesting because I don't think there was anybody who clearly set themselves apart from anybody else. I hated and loved all these picks. All right, you can go jerk off Jay later in a gas station.
I think that I beat you.
Premium with Jay.
I beat you because I have Benjamin and you don't.
Dude, they want us. We've been going for an hour and 45 minutes now, Gator.
Yeah, there's not a chance we're doing one more.
Dude,
Gator.
I'm beat.
I appreciate it. I appreciate we entertained you, but I got some gasoline porn to go home and watch.
That's Jay.
I got things to do. I got things to do. I got Diesel to see.
Oh man, that was a lot. That was fun. I appreciate you guys for tuning in.
Does Vin Diesel? Is that? Did he get that name because he originally came up through the gas station porn industry? These are the questions that I want to know.
These are answers that we need. Maybe his mom conceived him, in the gas station bathroom through gas station porn. God, Shane would have literally kept us off. Like, we wouldn't even talk about the draft at all if Shane was here.
I'm not. Will Fuller, worst pick of draft, according to Larry. Larry, that's rude.
Why?
That's rude. Swing for the fences. Swing for the upside. Will Fuller.
I mean, in the 19th, it's the second to last pick of the draft. Like, that's an upside pick.
Jason, I'm dead serious. If you DM me on Twitter and you want to co-manage a Football Guys championship for the FFPC, I would 100% draft with you based on your draft part. That's a real offer.
Dude, let's go. Let's go. This is awesome. I love getting people interacting in the community. So make sure you guys hit subscribe, by the way. Turn on the notifications because whenever we go live, of course, you'll get a notification that we're going live. We don't want you all to miss out. We have plenty of stuff going on next week. I'm leaving on Monday at 5 o'clock in the morning to go out to LA. I'll be at Trophy Smack for like 10 days. doing all of our content from there. So you guys can go find us over there, and I'll be doing all the stuff in front of a fireplace and a bar and a bunch of video games and stuff. It's going to be sexy. Like, I'm just going to have the sexiest layout ever. Make sure y'all use promo code CIRCLE if you guys buy a trophy or a belt on trophysmack.com. Make sure everything is in your cart, of course. If everything is in your cart, you'll receive the ring for free, and you'll support our podcast. Even if you're buying a draft board or something, make sure you use promo code CIRCLE because it'll end up supporting our podcast and all the hard work you've done to do the research. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, of course. And thank you guys for listening. Jacob, do you have anything else to add? You ready to go?
Follow me on Twitter at @F_RTDB. Hit me up on the Bulletproof Discord. Find my written work on Player Profiler. And if you happen to be in the greater Vancouver area, of course, during the weekend of July 17th, I think is the date, July 17th. I will be drafting live, of course, at the American, ironically, in Vancouver on Sunday, July 17th. If you're in town the night before, I know that I will be trying to get Drew, the DF bean counter, as drunk as possible in Vancouver that Saturday night. So if you follow either myself or Drew and you want to come grab a beer with us, by all means, just hit me up on Twitter and we'll take good care of you. And otherwise, yeah, let me know. It'll be fun. I would love to connect with like any listeners possible that are in and around that weekend. I think we're going to have 24 at the live drafts. That'll be fun. And anyone else who's around, that'd be great.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, we will be on the Scott Fishbowl. Wait, Jacob, are you on the podathon?
I am on the podathon. Yeah, I'll be on there with tips. Yeah.
What are you guys going on?
How about you tell when you're going?
So I am going on. So I'm actually going to be hosting. I think it's like 12:30, or 12 to 1:30 or somewhere around that range. I'm going to be hosting it. And then, of course, I'm actually going on the show itself with Derek Brown.
Oh, nice. D-Bro.
Yeah. D-Bro. I'll be going on with D-Bro, of course, talking some basketball.
What time did you say?
So I'll be on at like 4.
Oh, okay.
4:30 on Sunday. I was supposed to go on Saturday, then the schedules got mixed up. I'll be on, but I'll be hosting from like 12 or 11:30 to 2:30 on Sunday. So go check out the podathon regardless.
Okay. I heard that time because so I will be on there with Tom Tipple, of course, my co-host on the Full Tilt Dynasty podcast. You can check us out every Tuesday. We will be on there at 11:30 Central Time, 12:30 Eastern Time on Saturday. So check us out. We're on there right after Mike Wright, the fantasy hitman. So it'll be fun.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you guys for letting us intervene with your Scott Fishbowl life. Let's go.
Love it.